I'd like for you to read this information about Sir Thomas Wyatt and the building background on the next page. This individual, it would help immensely to have a little bit of background about his life, especially since it deals with, Henry VIII and one of his wives, Thomas Wyatt. I think with Sir Thomas Wyatt, it really paid to be good with words. You can see how he had some falling outs with Henry VIII, and Henry is a very temperamental king. Probably very moody and emotional, up and down. And if he doesn't like you, things usually get, things happen. Now, what's interesting about him is his alleged past relationship with Anne Boleyn. Remember, Anne Boleyn was on that list of his wives. She was the one who kind of tempted him, and he obviously made the actions himself. But she was the temptress that got him to separate from the Catholic Church, start the Church of England, make her the queen, and then she eventually birthed Elizabeth. But there were rumors and allegations that he had a relationship with her when they were younger, before she was called to court, before Henry's eye fell upon her. Some thought that it was a romantic in nature. I think based on some of the stuff we read today, we might be able to see that, yeah, that's true. He probably was in love with her. Because think about what would happen with if you were in love to somebody or betrothed to them, but then the king all of a sudden noticed her, and I want you to come to court, and you're my mistress now. What do you think happens? It's over. I guess it's done. But if you really had feelings and you were in love with that person, can you just sever those ties just like that? Probably not. And so I think we'll see a poet who's lamenting about the fact that love is out of his life, and it struggles. And especially if he's the head poet, if he's around Henry all the time, and he gets to witness his maybe ex-fiancée, his ex-girlfriend, his maybe ex-lover, being paraded around as the new queen right in front of him, you think that might be difficult? Those of you that have had relationships, if you guys break up, but then maybe your friend starts, or your mortal enemy starts dating, but you're always around that couple now, might that be difficult? And you have to stay professional, and maybe it's a secret. Maybe you can't say that you dated, because the king probably wants his Anne Boleyn to be, a virgin, chaste. So maybe he refuses to even think that there was something that could have happened. And so it wouldn't be good to go, I actually had relations with your wife at one time. That probably wouldn't be a smart move with Henry. Okay? And so we see Wyatt's, that the epitome of the forsaken lover, the one who love has just left them and forgotten who they are, and their life is pretty dramatic. Go ahead and turn the page. The first one we're going to read, since I said forsaken, the lover showeth how he is forsaken. The lover showeth how he is forgotten, how love has left him, how love has moved on. Now remember, these are very fast poems, and so they kind of zip right by. Look for little things in here, little clues, little uses of figurative language and lit terms here and there. And when they compare things, look and go, oh, well, that's a simile. Oh, that's a metaphor. Oh, I like what they're doing here. Listen to that alliteration in sound. It's not going to be, well, it could be. The alliteration that we had in Sir Gawain and the Green Knight was just hard to even say and repeat sometime. There were 4 G's in one line. Things like that. But just kind of keep an open ear. The best thing I want you guys to get out of these, because on tests, on assignments, on exams, you will have blind passages where here's a poem or here's a sonnet, and here are some questions. It might take multiple readings to get through them. What I want you to do is the first time through, did you have an idea as to what was happening? I'm not saying get up and lecture now, but did you get it? What happened? Because remember, we have the big chunks. There is, a problem. There is some situation. And then the bottom, there's some sort of advice, some sort of answer. Can you differentiate and figure out what is the advice and problem? If you can figure out what the advice is, usually you can figure out what the problem was. If you can get just that the first time through, that's great. Okay, and then after we go through it, maybe you have a better understanding. Like, oh, okay, this makes a little bit more sense. Great, that's what we want. The more exposures you have to it, hopefully you pick up a little bit more each time. So the lover showeth how he is forsaken. Listen to the selection.
The Lover Showeth How He Is Forsaken, by Sir Thomas Wyatt. They flee from me that sometime did me seek, with naked foot stalking within my chamber. Once have I seen them gentle, tame, and meek, that now are wild, and do not once remember. That sometime they have put themselves in danger to take bread at my hand, and now they range, busily seeking in continual change. Thanked be fortune, it hath been otherwise, 20 times better, but once especial, in thin array, after a pleasant guise, when her loose gown did from her shoulders fall, and she me caught in her arms long and small, and therewithal so sweetly did me kiss, and softly said, Dear heart, how like you this? It was no dream, for I lay broad awaking, but all is turned now, through my gentleness, into a bitter fashion of forsaking. And I have leave to go of her goodness, and she also to use newfangleness. But since that I unkindly so am served, how like you this? What hath she now deserved?
Okay, so how is the lover forsaken? We know just from the title that, things aren't the way that they used to be anymore. In the first few lines, they flee from me. That sometime did me seek with naked foot stalking within my chamber. So there is a remembrance of, naked feet chasing people around. They're not like in a weird stalker way. But, naked feet probably getting ready for bed or after bed or playing around afterwards. Many times, they flee from me. And they flee now, those that sometime had been in my room, in my bed, within my chamber. Once have I seen them gentle, tame, and meek, that now are wild. So now they're wild and unobtainable. They don't give me the time of day, whatever. But before, they used to be tame. What's the other words? Gentle, tame, and meek, when we were together. But now we're separate, and they're wild, and, I'm not with them anymore. Thanked be fortune, it has been otherwise 20 times better, but once is special. So I have been with these people where it's happened many, many times, 20 times before, but there was just this one special time. And that's what the second stanza, in this whole array that, the strap, the gown fell from her shoulders, and she me caught in her arms long and small, and I did kiss her sweetly, and oh, I said, dear heart, how like you this? So there was this one moment that was just so special. Maybe he means there was just this one girl that just really did it for me, and I was just head over heels in love with this woman. Because I can just remember the way her hair was flicking around, or her gown just fell off, or, whatever it would be. And then some might question him in line 15. He goes, it was no dream, for I was awake. Because some individuals, or he might even tell himself, because, they're so wild, they're so unforgiving, they're so ignoring of him, that, maybe you were dreaming it. Maybe it never truly happened, because no, it happened before. I wasn't dreaming. And I can remember especially that one time. And so he can keep that thought in his mind. Some people might say, wow, you're really, stressing yourself out. You're really torturing yourself by keeping these memories in there. But, maybe he's holding out hope that could change. Because he goes, that was real. It did happen. But things have definitely gone and been different. And as we go through these sonnets, remember that notion of unrequited love, unreciprocated love. Love for one person, but you don't get it back. And isn't that almost, more painful than anything? You have these strong feelings, but they just wouldn't give you the time of day. It's not necessarily a crush, but you just have these longings to be with this person, but they don't want anything to do with you, and you're just kind of crushed by that. And we'll see some more examples as we go through today. The next one on Whoso lists to hunt. Whoso lists to hunt. Who wants to go hunting? Okay. Look at what this is a short one. It's a sonnet. Look at what he compares hunting to. I'll just leave it at that. Listen to the selection.
Unit 2, The English Renaissance. Theme 2, Love's Labors. Whoso list to hunt, by Sir Thomas Wyatt. Whoso list to hunt, I know where is an hind. But as for me, alas, I may no more. The vain travail hath wearied me so sore, I am of them that farthest cometh behind. Yet may I by no means my wearied mind draw from the deer, but as she fleeth afore, fainting I follow. I leave off therefore, since in a net I seek to hold the wind. Whoso list her hunt, I put him out of doubt, as well as I may spend his time in vain. And graven with diamonds in letters plain, there is written her fair neck round about. Noli me tangere, for Caesar's I am, and wild for to hold, though I seem tame.
Whoso lists to hunt. Hunting, deer, and so on. They say the hind. I know where is an hind, a female deer. So in essence, we're not really talking about deer. I guess somebody who's completely ignorant of the love aspect of sonnets or of Thomas Wyatt might think, oh, well, it's just about hunting, because he's talking about pets and things around their necks. But think about the deer as the women and see where we can take this. So who wants to go hunting? I know where there's a deer, but as for me, alas, I may no more. So who wants to go hunting? I know of one that you could hunt, but I'm not going to anymore. The vain travail, the vain hard work, to do something in vain is to do it just pointless. Busy, we're busy. So he goes, I've done this, it's left me so sore, it's left me so miserable. Lines 5, 6 around there, talking about drawing from the deer. As she fleeth afore, I come closer to them, but they flee. So imagine a deer bouncing away as you're getting closer. So whenever I make the move, whenever I try to, get a relationship, they run away, like these deer. She fleeth afore, fainting I follow. And I just keep going. And then I get closer and she runs away. And I just keep going and keep going. And I'm not getting, that reciprocation of love. I leave off, therefore. So I quit. I quit, since in a net I seek to hold the wind. You understand how pointless that would be? Imagine a big butterfly net. You've seen those people out there with these big butterfly nets. Can you catch wind in those things? No. I mean, the wind goes right through it. But yet, that's his point. You can't succeed with this particular deer. I can't succeed in love. It's like I'm out there trying to catch the wind with this net. It's pointless. But yet it's a good visual. Whoso lists her hunt, I put him out of doubt, as well as I may spend his time in vain. So who wants to go waste some time? And graven with diamonds in letters plain, there is written, her fair neck round about, noli me tangere, for Caesar's I am, and wild for to hold, though I seem tame. And if we went back to the building background, it talked about how Julius Caesar actually had, pets walking around with little signs that say, do not touch. And you probably, knowing Caesar, would not touch those animals. You would leave them alone. Okay? So what Wyatt is alluding to here in his historical allusion is that I know of a deer here that you can try to hunt, but it'll be in vain. Because around her neck, around its neck, there are diamonds in letters plain. How can there be diamonds around somebody's neck? What would we call that? Ladies, a necklace. It's a necklace. This woman is not wearing a sign that says, no touchy, I'm Caesar's. But just wearing those jewels around her neck screams a lot. And it says a lot. And so around her fair neck, round about, noli me tangere, for Caesar's I am. Wild for to hold, though I seem tame. Though I seem tame and proper, and this beautiful young lady and beautiful queen, I'm actually pretty wild. And if you were to try to get with me, things could happen. So it's very dangerous to be with me, and so you don't want to mess with me. And this necklace, maybe it's some sort of crown on the head. It says, hey, I am Caesar's, but we know Caesar is not Caesar. It's who? Henry VIII, the king. Okay? And so if you look through this again, without knowing all of that stuff, you can just think about, oh, deer. Well, I know where there's some deer you could go get, but it says they're Caesar's pets. Okay, well, that's just a very elementary approach to it. Knowing about Wyatt, knowing about his alleged feelings and history and relationship with her, we get a lot more, context and subtext to this particular one. And it kind of really showcases that poet who doesn't get love but has so much feeling and so much out there and putting himself out there just for constant rejection. So it's a pretty good one.